Coming up next on Newswatch.
Legalizing marijuana could mean a business boost for Ohio. The race for the Democratic presidential nominee loses a candidate.
And in sports, a former Bobcat and current Dallas Maverick goes down with a leg injury. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens. This is Newswatch.
A Nelsonville woman is heading to jail after being found guilty in a drug ring case. Good evening, I'm Caitlin Marshall. Thanks for joining us. 25-year-old Megan DeVore, also known as Megan Spears of Nelsonville, Ohio, was sentenced to 14 years after pleading guilty to 25 counts. Her charges include possession and trafficking of heroin and money laundering. Megan DeVore is the 10th individual sentenced in the ring. There are 5 other pending cases connected with this case. Prosecutor Keller Blackburn says DeVore started out taking opiates, which led her to become an opiates large-sale drug dealer. Blackburn encourages anyone struggling with opiate addiction to contact their office to discuss enrollment in the Vivitrol program. You can find that phone number at the bottom of your screen. Banks across the nation are stuck in a hard spot right between pot and the federal government. Marijuana may soon become legal in Ohio, and with it will come lots of business. But where the money goes is still questionable. WOUB reporter Katie Anderson has been working to find the answer.
Banks across the state could soon be facing a tough decision. Should they accept business from marijuana dealers or not?
I have yet to find one in Ohio who believes that the benefits outweigh the risks.
This November, Ohio voters will be voting on Issue 3 to decide whether or not to legalize marijuana for medical and recreational use. But if passed, banks, along with people in the business, could be facing a major challenge.
The federal government could seize the building that that business is in, could seize all the deposits from that customer. So that is a very substantial risk.
Though some states have legalized marijuana for medical and or personal use, it's still a federal offense. Banks must follow certain state and federal regulations. So even though banks do have the choice, they're wary of accepting pot money, making it an all-cash business.
They're going to pay their employees, they're going to pay their taxes, they're going to pay utilities, they're going to pay for all products in cash. And that can be problematic.
Imagine walking down the sidewalk with your wallet full of thousands of dollars. Well, it might sound nice, but probably isn't very safe. I spoke with one man in California who says this is a daily fear of his.
Try running a business where you can't put your money in the bank, cash only. Go to the grocery store and pay a $40,000 electricity bill in cash. The girl behind the service desk is about to have a heart attack. It's very difficult. You can't put your money in the bank. I can't process credit cards.
This CNN map shows where marijuana is legal in some form in the U.S., totaling 24 states along with the District of Columbia so far. The federal government has not addressed the banking problem in these states, but Ian James believes Ohio may be a game changer.
We'll move the needle to just under 50% of the country population will be in a legalized state with Ohio passing. That's the tipping point.
And once that tipping point is reached, the Ohio Bankers Association says the issue needs to be addressed in order for proper regulation.
The banks are caught in the middle because if the banks cannot provide services to those businesses, I really question the ability of a state to regulate or tax the business if you're not having access to the banking system.
Reporting from the State House, Katie Anderson, WOUB News.
Ian James with Responsible Ohio tells WOUB he is trying to create a partnership between local community banks and marijuana retailers. But for now, it's all about the cash. And even though many support smoking marijuana, that's not the case for cigarettes. Grandview Heights Council near Columbus approved a revised ordinance yesterday that bans the sale of cigarettes and other tobacco products by anyone younger than 21. Mayor Ray DeGraw says it will be problematic to enforce because Grandview is surrounded by other cities that allow the sale. The ordinance ban includes the sale of liquid nicotine, hookahs, and electronic smoking devices. It takes effect in 30 days. And cigarettes are not the only thing causing concern. The director of West Virginia's Mine Safety Office says there is a growing substance abuse problem among minors. Director Eugene White of the Office of Mine Health, Safety, and Training said more than 800 miners have failed drug tests over the last 3 years. He also said 214 mining certificates have been suspended just this year, and the number of substance abusers is a small percentage of all miners in the state. The statistics are still alarming.
I'm Josh Gregory with your Newswatch weather today, and it is a beautiful day outside today. Our temperature is around 66 degrees today, and it's going to feel a little cooler though with a little bit of breezy winds. We've got winds coming in from the southwest at about 9 miles per hour. Humidity a little lower than usual, 32%. And as we look into our area, you'll see that it's a trend that continues throughout. We got warmer temperatures up north, cooler temperatures in the south. So Columbus is at 71, Newark and Cambridge, New Lexington all sitting at 72. And as we dip down south, we got 69 in Ironton, 68 in Ripley. And like I said, it is going to get cool. It's going to get cool tonight. So 57 degrees is your temperature at 8 p.m. It's going to drop 8 degrees to 49 at midnight. So make sure if you're out and about at this hour, you've got coats, hats, scarves, everything. And at 4 a.m., it's going to be 43 degrees, which is our low. So Caitlin, back to you.
All right, thanks, Josh. Looking forward to that. Republican Mary Taylor, lieutenant governor to the presidential contender John Kasich, has formed a nonprofit committee that could support a run for Kasich's job in 2018. Taylor incorporated Onward Ohio with the Secretary of State's office last week. A committee spokeswoman says the group is designed to ensure the common sense initiatives of the Kasich-Taylor administration continue. Taylor is one of 3 high-profile Republicans considering a gubernatorial run. Ohio colleges have launched a plan to fight sexual assaults on campus. The Changing Campus Culture initiative has recommendations for all Ohio campuses, including 2- and 4-year public and private colleges and universities. According to a report by the Association of American Universities, nearly a quarter of undergraduate women surveyed at more than 24 universities say they experienced unwanted sexual contact sometime during college. Victims of domestic violence, stalking, and other crimes could have their address shielded from use by government agencies under proposed Ohio legislation. The bill would allow victims worried about attackers tracking them down to apply for a confidential address from the Ohio Secretary of State. The bill was scheduled for its first hearing today before the House Government Accountability and Oversight Committee. The Marshall University Board of Governors has chosen a new president, according to board chairman, Michael Sellards. The board chose the new president in a closed-door session yesterday morning. He says the choice will not be disclosed until the selection is approved by the State Higher Education Policy Commission. Sellards says the new president should be announced before the board's next meeting on October 28th. The Marshall University is teaming up with a nonprofit organization to provide training in environmental remediation jobs. The Coalfield Development Corporation and the university's Center for Environmental, Geotechnical, and Applied Sciences announced the 2-year initiative yesterday. The first courses are scheduled to begin October 26th at the West Edge Factory in Huntington. The initiative is funded by a U.S. Department of Environmental Protection grant. A death row inmate has died due to natural causes. Jerry Lawson died Wednesday at Franklin Medical Center in Columbus. The condemned killer is a confidential informant and shot a confidential informant, and taunted him as he bled to death, has died of natural causes. The 62-year-old was sentenced to die in 1988 for the fatal shooting of Tim Martin in southwestern Ohio. Records say Martin implicated Lawson in 2 home burglaries. Lawson did not have an execution date. Coming up next on Newswatch, trouble for Cleveland Brown quarterback Johnny Manziel. More on the footage and 911 calls released today. And activists in India are working to combat sexual assault attacks in India. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
I decided to do a planned gift because I want to ensure that PBS will be around for my grandchildren and hopefully great-grandchildren. I would hope that others, when doing their estate planning, would include their PBS station. My PBS station is part of my community. That's something I really value.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home. My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like we're having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
An about-face from Donald Trump on Afghanistan, the GOP presidential frontrunner says the U.S. was right to invade Afghanistan after the 9/11 terrorist attacks. It's a reversal of his position earlier this month when he called the Afghan war a mistake. Trump tried to clarify his comments today on CNN's Allison Camerota.
We made a mistake going into Iraq. I've never said we made a mistake going into Afghanistan.
Our question was about Afghanistan. That day on October 6th, it was about Afghanistan.
Okay, wouldn't matter. I never said it. Afghanistan is a different kettle. Afghanistan is next to Pakistan. It's an entry in. You have to be careful with the nuclear weapons. It's all about the nuclear weapons.
Trump's comments came just days after President Obama announced U.S. troops levels in Afghanistan would remain the same for much of the next year, delaying a long-planned pullout of the war-torn country. Former Senator Jim Webb has dropped out of the Democratic presidential race. Webb made the announcement today at the National Press Club in Washington. He says he will now meet with people from across the political spectrum to consider a third-party run for president. The former Virginia senator's candidacy never really got off the ground as he did little campaigning and polled poorly. He was also critical of the Democratic Party's strategy and support they gave him during his run.
Withdrawing from any consideration of being the Democratic Party's nominee for the presidency.
Webb's departure now leaves only 4 Democratic candidates registered to run. The party is still waiting on an announcement from Vice President Biden, which could come at the end of this week. Ohio police have released the dash cam footage and 911 calls from when Cleveland Browns quarterback Johnny Manziel and his girlfriend were pulled over last week. In the footage you hear, both have different versions of what happened. John Kosick reports.
Dashcam video Johnny Manziel tells officers how events spiraled out of control last Monday night after drinks downtown with his girlfriend Colleen Crowley. On the video, you hear Manziel tell officers how he told Crowley he wanted to pick up a buddy. That didn't sit well with her.
We got into a little bit of, hey, you want to hang out with him so you can go see some other girls, this and this.
This is between you?
Her saying this and me. You want to go see some other girls, that's why you want to hang out with him, blah, 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 blah.
Crowley minutes earlier relayed her version of events to the officer.
What happened today? You guys are obviously in this car.
He's like, I don't know, he hit me a couple times.
While you were in the car?
Yeah. But I don't want to, please don't make that. Please don't.
The police report noted the only visible injuries to Crowley were an abrasion wound to her left forearm, consistent with Manziel's story that he grabbed her to keep her from trying to jump out of the car, which prompted a 911 call from a passerby to police. Listen as Manziel pleads in the background.
Oh, baby, please. It appears that the girl might be intoxicated.
Okay.
At one point, Browns linebacker Paul Kruger just happened by, which upset Crowley.
He doesn't need it. He has nothing to do with it.
Okay, just give me a
No,
second.
it's not fair.
Would you like-
He needs to go.
He would leave, but not before offering police his opinion of Manziel's girlfriend.
Not the right one you should be with, I'll tell you that much.
Both Manziel and Crowley were eventually allowed to leave the scene together. Crowley told officers that she did not want to press charges. A series of rapes involving very young children has shocked New Delhi. It's prompted calls for authorities to do more to stop them and protests among Indians. Two teenagers aged 16 and 17 were arrested Sunday for the alleged abduction and rape of a 2.5-year-old girl. The girl's family and community members found her bleeding at a park. Another girl, this one 5 years old, 3 men were arrested in that case. Activists in New Delhi are accusing the government and the police of failing to protect women and children. Both girls are recovering in the hospital and are in stable physical condition. On Wall Street today, stocks are ending slightly lower as weak earnings reports weigh on the market. Here's a look at stocks of local interest. Coming up on Newswatch, more on a typhoon that is ripping through the Philippines. That story still ahead.
Welcome back to the Newswatch Weather Center. Clear skies and cool down kind of sums up our weather for tonight. But what about the rest of the week? We can expect some showers, and I've got more information in my extended forecast. Stay tuned.
I support one student in college with a scholarship. Just the way I want to pass on a legacy of education. I would like to pass PBS on to the next generation. I like to think that PBS is concerned with our soul. If your soul is in the right place, you're in giving back.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home. My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
"18 people have been killed in the Philippines from a powerful and slow-moving storm that continues to batter the region. Typhoon Kapu has now weakened from a typhoon to a tropical storm, but it's still bringing torrential rain. Over 100,000 people have been displaced due to widespread flooding and landslides. The storm came ashore early Sunday at super typhoon strength, ripping roofs off buildings and uprooting trees in the coastal province of Aurora. The storm has caused at least $114 million in damage to infrastructure and agriculture, though Pema noted that the number will likely rise.
Welcome back to the Newswatch Weather Center. We don't have any storms today. Instead, we've got clear skies and a nice cool temperature, 66 degrees. Going to feel a little cooler with 9-mile-per-hour winds coming in from the southwest. Like I said before, humidity a little lower than usual and the pressure a little higher than usual. And so looking in our area, you'll see 72 degrees up in our northern area of our region in New Lexington, Newark, Cambridge. And as we get further south, 69 down in Ironton and 68 in Ripley. And that's something that's going to continue as we get cooler tonight. You can see temperatures a little bit inconsistent with each other. We've got 39 in Athens, 40 up in New Lexington, 45 in Columbus. And as we get down south, 40 in Ironton and 38, coolest temperature on our map right now down in Ripley. And tomorrow, these temperatures, again, pretty comfortable temperatures tomorrow and sunny skies. 73 degrees in Jackson, 72 in Athens as we get higher up, 71 in Newark. So as we look into our map, you'll see not a whole lot going on. You've got our high pressure systems in our west, but it's really going to sit around there for a few days, and we won't see any storms come our way until later on in the week. So 39 degrees is our low tonight. It's going to get pretty cool, but on the plus side, we've got clear skies, not a chance of rain, and pretty mild winds, 2 miles per hour, so not a whole lot going on over there. But looking at our weather tomorrow morning at the bus stop, 40 degrees, pretty cool. Don't let the skies fool you. It's going to be chilly, so make sure the kids have the coats, they have the gloves, they have the scarves, the hats, they've got it all. So they are cold for the rest of the day. But you're going to want to lose that jacket because it's going to get up to 73 degrees tomorrow. And we're going to see that sun a whole lot tomorrow because there aren't going to be any any clouds. And with that, not a chance of rain. And like I said, winds not getting up to a whole lot. We got 4 to 8 mile per hour winds tomorrow. So plan your day accordingly. 42 degrees, it's going to start pretty cool. So on your way to work, you're going to want that coat. But you may want to take that coat off as you leave for your lunch break at noon, 65 degrees. And then 4 hours later at 4, it's going to be 71. So that'll be right around our high. You can expect that around 4 or 5. And so looking in our extended forecast, 73 degrees is the high tomorrow. And it's going to keep getting a little warmer Thursday. It's going to get a little cooler Friday. But the weather, here's where it's going to change. It's going to get rainy and cooler as we see the weekend. So back to you with sports. Caitlin, excuse me.
Thanks, Josh. Transient ischemic attacks, or TIAs, are often called mini strokes because their symptoms are the same as a stroke, but they go away in just a few minutes. In other words, they're transient or temporary. However, as Linda Ciampa tells us, doctors want patients who've experienced TIAs to seek immediate medical attention because TIAs are warning signs for potentially bigger issues, namely strokes.
TIAs, or transient ischemic attacks, happen when a blood clot or tight vessel cuts off blood flow to the brain for a short time. TIAs only last a few minutes, but they're a red flag for future stroke.
About 10% of patients who had TIAs will have a real stroke within 90 days.
Signs and symptoms of TIAs are sudden and the same as those of stroke: numbness or weakness on one side of the body, confusion or trouble speaking, trouble with vision, dizziness or loss of balance, or severe headache with no known cause.
It's extremely important to take these signs seriously, even though they've resolved and you're maybe back to your baseline. It's extremely, extremely important to take this seriously and seek medical attention as soon as possible.
Depending on the underlying issue, treatment for TIAs can range from lifestyle changes such as stopping smoking, eating a heart-healthy diet, and exercising, to medications that prevent clots or lower cholesterol, or, as in John Peterson's case, surgery.
That technique was able to resolve a number of the symptoms and prevent a major catastrophic stroke from happening.
In Boston, Massachusetts, I'm Linda Ciampa for CNN.
The American Stroke Association has come up with an easy way to remember the signs of TIA or stroke. Remember fast: facial drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty, and time to call 911.
I'm Michael Drapcho. The Cubs and Mets will square off for a big Game 3 tonight, and an Ohio field hockey player takes home Player of the Week honors, next on Newswatch. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
My granddaughter is named June Elizabeth, but I call her Junebug. My hope is to teach her about kindness and about the love of animals and nature. I want Junebug to have the same opportunities I had by watching PBS. My husband and I feel so strongly about our PBS station that we've included them in our estate plan. PBS is part of our values, and we want to pass it on to the next generation.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home. My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open. You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like we're having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Welcome back, I'm Michael Drapcho. If you like offense, then last night's ALCS Game 3 was definitely one for you, as the Kansas City Royals and Toronto Blue Jays were swinging some hot bats. Desperately trying to avoid falling into a 3-game hole, the Jays exploded in the bottom of the third. Troy Tulowitzki crushed a 3-run shot to center, followed by another homer from Josh Donaldson, which capped off the 6-run inning. It was a rough game for Royals pitcher Johnny Cueto as he surrendered 8 of the Jays' 11 runs. Both teams are back in action today for a crucial Game 5, and that game is currently in the top of the 8th, and the Royals lead 9-2. Heading over to the National League now, the Mets and Cubs will square off in what could be a pivotal Game 3 in Chicago tonight. After dropping the first 2 games of this best-of-7 series, the Cubs are looking to avoid going down 3-0. Jacob deGrom will be on the hill for the Mets, and he'll be going up against Cubs pitcher Kyle Hendricks in a pitching matchup that likely favors deGrom. Keep an eye on Daniel Murphy in this one, though. The Mets second baseman has been on fire as of late, as he's gone deep in 4 straight games. First pitch is scheduled for 8:07. Despite leading Ohio State to a 7-0 record, Cardale Jones has been replaced as the quarterback for the Buckeyes. Ohio State head coach Urban Meyer announced Tuesday that JT Barrett is now OSU's starting QB. Meyer stated that this change just comes down to production in the end zone and on third down, but Barrett has an 83.3 completion percentage in the red zone, which is more than 50 points higher than that of Cardale Jones. Barrett's first start this season comes Saturday when the Buckeyes hit the road to take on Rutgers. After leading Ohio Field Hockey to a pair of wins over the weekend, senior forward Adele Salmons received MAC Offensive Player of the Week honors. Salmons racked up 8 points in 2 games, including 3 goals and 2 assists. Salmons and the rest of the Bobcats will be back in action this Friday when they take on the Kent State Golden Flashes. That's it for sports. I'm Michael Drapcho. Back to you, Caitlin.
Thanks, Michael, and that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Caitlin Marshall. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime online at WOUB.org.
Decided to do a planned gift because I want to ensure that PBS will be around for my grandchildren and hopefully great-grandchildren. I would hope that others, when doing their estate planning, would include their PBS station. My PBS station is part of my community. That's something I really value.